What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Digital Gate. I hope you all had a good Christmas. I'm bringing you my updated Ariemon profile. Deck I've been testing a lot. It's one of those ones I always go back to. I really enjoy playing it. And this build is kind of dumb. I've been testing it a lot. I've beat D.G.O with it. I've beat Bagger Army with it, Galaxy. It very comfortably beats Gallantmon. Haven't played against Hoodie with it yet, so I haven't had a chance to test that matchup yet. But most matchups I go into, I'm pretty comfortable I can beat because of one particular card that just extends the combo and speeds the deck up so much quicker. So we'll get into that when we get there. For the eggs, we just have the 4 Bukamon. It's the only egg you need. We need as much memory as possible to extend our plays, so this is the best egg for that. When you play a Digimon from an effect, you gain 1 memory. So like I say, we need memory to be able to extend plays, to keep pushing as hard as we can, and this Bukamon helps with that. Onto level 3s. They're all Sango. We have 4 of the Searcher Sangomon. On play, reveal the top 3. Add 1 Sea Animal Aqua. Yep, and 1 card with Liberator. So 9 times out of 10, this is hitting you 2 cards. The main reason it's so good is because of its inheritable, which is end of attack, gain 1 memory. Again, as I've said with the Bukamon, we want to be gaining as much memory as possible so we can extend our plays. So that's why he's so good. Moving on to the next Sangomon, we run 4 of this one. This is the Digivolution Reduction one. So if you evo into a Sea Animal Aqua, reduces it by 1. It has the same inheritable as this, which is end of attack, gain 1. So he's probably the best one because he allows you to pull him out, evo up for 1, and then go into further plays. And then we have 4 of this Sangomon, possibly the worst one, but you're only playing him because his name is Sangomon and he's Liberator. If there was another level 3 that had a similar inheritable to this to gain new memory, I would probably play that over this, but for now he's a Liberator and an Aqua target, so if you see 2 of these off of him, you can just grab both. But he's okay because he lets you tuck him under something and give a blocker on play. Onto level 4s. We have the best card in the deck. We have 4 D.G.O. Why it has the aquatic trait, I do not know. If it didn't, this deck wouldn't exist. It exists because of this card, pretty much. On play, draw 1. Then if played from sources, you gain a memory. This triggers with decode, so if you decode it out off of one of your Marine Ball mons, you get the ability again, which we'll get into once we get to the combos and stuff. Its inheritable is jamming, which is the same as this Sangomon, which is why this Sangomon's bad, because it doesn't have the same inheritable as these. But his card's just insanely good. Then we run 3 of this Shellmon and 2 of this Shellmon. I want to run more of this because of the inheritable, which is the same as this Sangomon, which end of attack, gain 1. But he's when Digivolving, if you have 1 of your Tamers, you get to play a Yao. We're only running 4 Yaos in this deck, so he doesn't really come up that often with his when Digivolving. As I said, the main reason he's in here is for the inheritable, which is why I want to run more of him over him. But this Shellmon does what we want. He's on play when Digivolving. You can tuck a level 5 or lower under one of your other Digimon, including one of your Digimon. Any of your blue Digimon, you can tuck something under. You can run the promo in here if you prefer the draw. The reason I don't is because the promo has to specifically tuck it under itself, whereas this Shellmon gets to tuck it under anything, which can help plays later on in the combo section and whatnot. And then, like I say, this Shellmon just gives you an extra memory. I may test it as a 3-2, like the other way around, but we'll do that. I'll test that out later on. Its inheritable is jamming. but we have so much jamming in this deck as it is. You don't really need this. As I said, it's only in there for its when Digivolving on play effect to be able to then play other things out. On to level 5s. We are running 8, but the last 2 level 5s I will show you towards the end. 4 Marine Bullmon. This is the card that makes the deck work. This in conjunction with this is just stupidly broken. On play when Digivolving, you can tuck a blue card under anything, including himself. So once we get into level 7s, I'll show you the combo. So that's that. It also has decode, same as this Shellmon here. If you know what decode is when it would leave the battle area other than by battle, you can play out the level below it. So the Shellmon will play out at level 3, the Marine Bullmon will play out at level 4, which 9 times out of 10 will be the Shuike. And then this inheritable is just what makes this card godly. End of attack, you get to play at level 4 or lower from this Digimon sources. So if it's got level 6 over it, you swing, play out this, play out one of these guys to get a search, to get a reduced resolution. If you need a blocker, you can play this out. You can play this out and tuck something else underneath, or you can just play this out if that's the only thing you've got. This deck is very, very consistent. Like, I got asked once, what's this deck's biggest weakness? And during play testing, honestly, its biggest weakness is itself. The amount of draw and stuff you have in this deck is very unlikely. You won't see your pieces, but there is chances you can do. I have bricked several times with this deck, but it's still fun to play even if you brick. Like this deck is just so much fun. And like I say, this combo here is just stupid, and I'll show you why when we get there. The next level 5 is we have 2 Huankun from BT19. I was playing this Waymon in this slot because this Waymon is Sea Animal, so you can play it out with Decode off of your Rigumon, and you can play it out with Ariemon. But why I like this Waymon is because its standard ability and its inheritability is when this Digimon will leave the battlefield other than by your own effect, you can play out a level 4 from its sources. So it's kind of like a 50-50 with Decode. It can be stronger or it can be weaker depending on the way you look at it, because this doesn't trigger with your own abilities like Decode does. So if you play this out, get something tucked underneath it, then go to slide underneath, you then go get to pull the level 4 out like you do with Marine Ball. But if this is under a level 6, then you have him and the Decode, and your Digimon is about to be deleted by an effect or something, you then get to Decode or use his ability to play out the level 4 and then Decode out this guy. And if you play this guy out with him, then Decode, you can use this, then tuck another level 4 underneath. That was the premise behind this guy, but my mate Brian, so I'll give a shout out to him, suggested this guy. He's on play when Digivolving, he's blocking himself, so it gives a little bit of defense to the game. The deck, if you're trying to find pieces and stuff, it can slow your opponent down a little bit. On play when Digivolving, you can give one of your Digimon, it can't be deleted in battle until the end of your opponent's turn, so it's kind of like pseudo jamming in a way, but it's better because it works during your opponent's turn. If you block with this, it doesn't get deleted. And then the real reason this is in here is because of his inheritable, which is during your turn. This Digimon's attack can't be redirected. So if you're swinging with Ariemon or anything and this is underneath, that can't be redirected because, again, going back to what's this deck's biggest weakness is itself and possibly blockers. Itself more so, but blockers is definitely there. So yeah, shout out to Brian for pointing that out. As I said, I do have 2 more level 5s in the deck, but we'll get into those once we've finished up with the Digimon. Level 6s, we are only running the 4 of the BT22 Ryugumon. This card is insanely good. Decode level 5, so you can spit out one of these guys. You can't spit out either level 5, and you'll see why when we get there. On play when Digivolving, you can tuck a level 5 or lower under him to basically stop one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers from suspending until the end of their turn. So it's very helpful for that. And then all turns when something's tucked under him, you can bounce a level 5 back to your opponent's bottom deck. So he's just really good because even during your turn, So if you have, say, this Shellmon here under this, this gets destroyed, you can play this, tuck something with this under this if you have one of these on board, and then bounce something, or yeah, something like that. So that's level 6. Plus it's only 3 cost Evo, which is whereas the old Ariemon or Ryugamon was 4 cost. So this is basically a 3 cost Evo with the emblem. Level 7s, we have 3 Ariemon. You don't need 4. 4 is too many. She can get clunky in your hand, but the fact that she can Evo over your Marine Bullmon as well does kind of help. You very rarely do that, but the option is there if need be. So she has D.G.O level 6, so you're spitting out your Ryugamon, because 9 times out of 10 you will want to be Evoing over, because you can swing with this, gain a crap ton of memory with all your inheritables, potentially spit something out with this, like going into that to play more memory. Play this, when Digivolving you get to play out 3, 4 and 5 from her sources, which will then trigger your Bukemon. If you play this, suck this under, then her other ability, which is when attacking, when Digivolving, you can then suck something back in to unsuspend her and bounce one of your opponent's Digimon. So the plan is, you swing with your Ryugamon. If you have, say, this underneath one of these, you then gain 2 memory. Evo into this, suspended. Spit out the Marine Ball, spit out one of these and any level 3 if you have one underneath. Trigger this to gain another memory. Trigger your Bukemon to gain a memory. Trigger this to do a search. Marine Bullmon, if you have one in hand, you can tuck one of these under. Marine Bullmon will then get sucked under with Ariemon, spitting this back out to then gain you another memory and draw you another card, which then just extends your plays to go into what card we're going into next. This deck is very aggressive, and it's because of the next card, which is why I find this build just so good. And this is one of the main reasons why we're comfortably beating Gallantmon, because it's a 4 cost Evo or a 6 cost Evo over Marine Ball. If you have an Yao on board, you can swing, or you can Evo, pass memory to your opponent's board, spit out a bunch of guys, and before you gain any of the memory, you can tuck something back in, bounce your opponent's Gallantmon X, because the protection is no longer X, the memory's back on their side, then gain all your memory, tip it back over to your side, unsuspend, and do whatever you want. So these are the last 2 level 5 cards. In my previous Ryugamon video, if you saw, I was playing Marine Mon or whatever it's called, which is on play, level 5, on play, tuck something under to gain 2 memory. She was great, but this 2 BT8 Chimeramon, this card is insane in this deck. So you Digivolve into Ariemon over Ryugamon, which has one of these, a Shikwao, a Marine Ball, and any level 3, it doesn't matter the level 3. She spits out the Marine Ball, the Juike, and preferably the Digivolution Reduction one. So spits out them. She then tucks, Marine Ball then tucks another one of these in. You then use this to gain a memory to draw a card. Bukemon then gives you a memory. She then sucks in the Marine Ball, playing out another one of these to then gain you another memory. You then Jogress into Chimeramon, because you now have 2 of these on the board. You can then Jogress into Chimeramon. If you have another Marine Ball in the trash, you can suck that under this. You can then swing, because you have jamming, you don't care. You'll give 2k to stuff on the board that doesn't matter. The 2k isn't really doing anything. You're not gaining any DP off of him either. The Marine Ball will trigger, playing out another one of these, giving you another level 4. And then if you have the other one in hand, you can then, and you've got level 3 on board, you can then Evo into another level 4, go into another one of these. And then you just got 2 extra swings there. And because these are brand new Digimon as well, if you have the memory, because this deck craps out memory like nothing, you then potentially go into another Marine Ball or another Ryugamon, and then if you can, go into another Ariemon, and they just keep swinging, bouncing, stopping stuff from suspending, can't be blocked, gaining memory off of these, because even if you use this Marine Ball with the Ryugamon, and then spit it out with Ariemon, then suck it back in, I believe it's classed as a new trigger, new source, so that you can then trigger it again to then swing with this Ariemon again and then spit something else back out. But if you haven't tried BT8 Chimeramon in Ryugamon, I highly recommend it, because you're just constantly evoing, drawing cards. The only problem with this card is it is white, so you have no way of searching it. If you get bottom decked off of your searches, say this, or training, or memory boost, you probably won't see it for a while, or if it goes in trash, you got no way to get it back, because there's no like white scrambles or anything like that. So that's the only problem with this card. But other than not being able to search it, because you have so much draw off of this, the amount you're digivolving, the amount you're playing this, and everything like that, you more 9 times out of 10 you will be seeing this. So I wouldn't run any more than 2, because like I say, it's not searchable. If it goes into the trash, you've got no way to get it back and such. So 2 is more than enough. On to Tamers, we're only running the 4 promo Yao. You don't need the memory set. The memory set is garbage. The memory set is really bad. This is the only Yao you need. She's start of your main phase, your opponent has a Digimon gain a memory. And then during your turn, when a Digimon is tucked under, one of your Digimon with Aqua and Liberator trait can evo up with a reduced cost of 1. So it triggers off of this. If this tucks something under, you can suspend this to then go into a level 5. One of these. Unfortunately, you can't go into him. Go into them, or when Marine Ball tucks one of these guys under, you can go into this, or when this tucks, you can go into Ariemon and everything. So as I said, you don't need the memory setter. This deck, as I've said several times, just craps out memory. So the memory setter is not needed. If you have 2 of these on the board, you're essentially got a memory setter anyway, even with 1, because you're spitting out memory with this, you're spitting out memory with this, you're spitting out memory with this, memory with this. If you have this underneath, all your inheritables from your Shellmons and your Sangomons, you have 8 Sango and 2 Shell, which is spitting out memory every time you swing. These are 4 extra memory, that's 4 extra memory. Excuse me. You don't need the memory setter, you really don't. I found 4 of her is more than enough, and she helps you play. The only problem, again, this is another negative for Chimeramon, but the positives for Chimeramon outweigh the negatives, is the fact that she specifically says when something's placed under one of your Liberator blue Aqua or Sea Animal trait, and obviously he's not, because the plan was that you jog rest with him, tuck something under, then Shid will allow you to then evo into a Ryugamon for reduced cost, but he's not Aqua or Sea Animal, so it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But he's still very strong, and I would, again, highly recommend him. Onto options. We are running 4 Emblem. Not much to say about the emblem. Emblems just cracks. All the emblems are strong. This isn't one of the strongest. I still think that probably the strongest one is Rocks, because of how easy it is to trigger. Probably followed by, once we get it, Owen's one for the Medusam line. But this is probably up there with one of the strongest with how easy it is to trigger if you have the Yao. Just tuck something under, suspend her. You can evo into this, tuck something, suspend her, go into this for 2, use this to go into this for 3. Or evo into this, tuck something, use this to go into this for 2, and then this for 1. So you've essentially mitigated this evolution cost here to just go into this. So last of the option cards, we just have a couple of consistency pieces, 2 and 2. I like 2 and 2 at the minute. I don't know if I would bump one up to 4 and play none of the other one, or 3 and 1, or maybe take out 2, cut down the next card. But I'm quite liking 2 and 2 at the minute. So as I said, none of them can search Chimeramon, but that's not a problem. Again, memory boost just helps with memory, and this will just lower evolution costs to make your plays cheaper and everything. Same with the 2 scramble. Again, if you wanted to bump one of these up to 3, you can cut scramble down to 1. That's not a problem. But scramble allows you to go into plays for cheaper, If you go into this can be a 2-cost with this. You can then trigger the Yao, and then Emblem if you have one on board to then go up the chain and such. So this also, because Chimeramon takes the color of the sources under him, so he will count as blue. So if you have him on board with Ryugimon and this, you can then scramble into Ryugimon and then tuck something with Ryugimon, which then fulfills the conditions for both of these to then go into your Ariemon. So yeah, the deck is really good. It has its problems, as most decks do. It's fairly consistent. I haven't really found any problems with it. As I said, its biggest weakness is its blocker, which is what this is for, and itself. You don't really need to worry about floodgates, because this will bounce them, this will bounce them. If you manage to go into this, you can just DP reduce them and everything. So I think Crimson Blaze is a pretty big problem also, but I fortunately haven't run into any Crimson Blaze. And if you do, all your guys are, you're sitting on these guys and stuff anyway, or if you feel there's a Crimson Blaze coming, well, D.G.O won't do anything anyway, but yeah, you get the point. As I said, you can very comfortably beat most decks with this. As I said, haven't played Hoodymon yet, so I need to test against that. But yeah, that's my update Ariemon list. Thanks for watching, guys, and this is Digital Gate closing.